Greetings. I think we are absolutely live streaming onto Facebook, YouTube, and all the things. Make sure the recording is hit as well. Do that. We're live right now, Sarah. You want to make sure it's recorded?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome. We'll just give a quick minute for our attendees to join us live on Zoom, but we are live streaming on the different social platforms. Welcome in if this is your first time being introduced to the BG5 Business Institute. It is the home of a human design system for business application, which is awesome. Okay, wonderful. Okay, great. I was wondering, where can I see my attendees? We've got attendees in the waiting room. Can we let the attendees in, please?
If we start the webinar, Sarah, if you wanted to do it.
We're already streaming.
Well, the streaming maybe, but the Zoom says start. Yes, now.
There you go. Excellent. Perfect. Welcome in, everybody. Come on in. Here they come. Hello, Emily. Hello, John. Sheila. Hi, Sheila. Good to see you. I recognize some of these names. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting ourselves going here. We'll give you a quick minute to come on in. We are streaming live onto the BG5 Business Institute YouTube, as well as I think we're on Facebook, maybe even a couple other places, right? Sarah, you're being quite a ninja with all these different platforms. Hi. Hi, John. Klaus, long time no see. Klaus, good to see you too. Awesome. Anna Lee, what a pretty name. Claudia. Faraday. Gosh, great names, friends. Shayona. Beautiful. Welcome in. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can chat. Can they chat to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so feel free to put in the chat to everyone. Where are you from? I'm curious to know what parts of the world we have here today. We just another quick minute. We're already 2 minutes after. We're going to jump in just in a quick second here. So I'm curious who we have here. We've got Galina from Munich. Sheila's in Tennessee, USA. We've got Missouri, USA from John. Hi. Syracuse, New York, Emily. I love it. Did I pronounce that properly? Is it Syracuse? Syracuse. Sarah, you know?
Yeah, it's Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Oh. My phone just went, uh-huh. When I said Sarah, she thought I said S-I-R-I. She's waking up. Faraday's from Turkey. I love it. Gaudi, Venezuelan, and Buenos Aires, Argentina, Salt Lake City, Anna Lee. Whoa, that's awesome. I love it. Vancouver, BC, Shayona. You know, I grew up in the Kootenays. So let's dive right in. This is Mari Smith, and I am a social media thought leader. I've been the premier Facebook marketing expert since 2007, and I'm so honored and delighted for the last almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in January. I have embarked on deep professional studies of the human design system, and the BG5 aspect of that is the business side, the business aspect of the human design system. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I actually had my first human design reading almost 20 years ago, and it went right over my head, didn't make any sense. And it wasn't until late 2020 that came bounding back into my life. And I had such a strong sacral response. I'm like, wow, this is where I want to put my attention and energy. And I am almost a certified professional analyst on the human design side, just finishing up my final PTL4 for those of you who are familiar with that journey. And then on the BG5 side, I've gone through the consultant certification program and also need to complete my final assignment. I think I see a pattern there. But in any case, Sarah, I'm going to hand over to you to do a brief introduction. I'm delighted to work with Sarah.
Yes, and I'm delighted to work with Mari as well.
Want to spotlight yourself, or can I spotlight you?
Oh,
yeah. Or you
sure.
can put us both up or whatever you want. There she is.
Yeah. Let's see, pin. My name is Sarah McGowan, and I've been working for the BG5 Business Institute for, I think, 3 to 4 years now. And my role has just continued to increase. with responsibility as I've learned more about the business. And it's such a pleasure to work with everyone that's here today on the panel. But I'm the assistant director of the Institute, and I'm just really excited and passionate about bringing BG5 further into the world because I believe that it has a tremendous impact on people's lives. So thank you all for being here today.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now, friends. We do have a wee presentation here available for you, and you're going to get to meet the instructors, and each of them are going to share a little bit about themselves and their journey and how they got involved. So welcome in, everybody. We're just delighted to have you here. We are recording this, and it's also streaming over onto the BG5 Business Institute social channels. So this actually, I should have had this up there, though. Here I am. I am a 1-3, a pioneer, authority pioneer in the BG5 terms, or investigator, martyr in the human design terms, and sacral builder, classic builder. And Sarah, she is express builder is the right terms from the BG5. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet the instructors. We're going to do a little program showcase, see what you can learn if you have a response or you feel the invitation or you would like to initiate your learning journey with the BG5, a few success stories, and then plenty of time for Q&A. You're more than welcome at any time. Pop your questions. And is it in the chat, Sarah, or do they have the Q&A pod in this thing? Oh, there's a Q&A.
Yeah, it'd be great to put all questions in the Q&A, but then we can interact with each other in the chat.
Beautiful. And of course, if somebody really wants to, we could unmute you or invite you to unmute, and you can ask your questions live if you want. All right, and then stay to the very end. We do have a lovely discount for you on the holiday sales as well, and a report. So I think we just did that. We talked about what we're going to do. And also one of the things that you'll come to know about yourself if you haven't studied much of human design at all. There's an aspect of the transmission of this body of work that's very acoustic, it's very auditory. And some of us, like I'm one of them, one of the people who are just extremely attuned to frequencies. So that's when we say, feel the frequency of the instructors. When you'll sense in yourself, in your body, if you have a resonance with certain instructors, and also get a sense of their style. And then for all our 2/3 of the world that are builders, give you something to respond to. So let's jump right in without further ado to meet our instructors. And first up, we have Tak. Tak, would you like to say just a little bit about yourself and what drew you to BG5, and then actually we'll cover what you teach in a little bit. So just more on the personal introduction be awesome.
Yeah, it's great to meet you too, Mari. First time. Welcome everybody. I thought about how do I summarize a 50-year eclectic professional background. So I thought about what is it that I can say that speaks to the efficacy and the power of the BG5 system. In 2018, it's when I liked your word, Mari, I embarked upon the BG5 certification course and learned at that time about the 4 different environments that we get to work in as solopreneurs, partnerships, small groups, and large groups, and the impact that has on us as individuals. My design, as you see here, I'm one of those intriguing individuals that can work in any and or all 4 of those environments. And in hindsight, my favorite word is gobsmacked. I was absolutely gobsmacked with how right on and aligned all of my careers have been with my design. My very first one, early 70s, I was drawn to a large organization and insurance company in the accounting department. Stayed there 15 years, ended up being a manager of an accounting department. And I share that because I don't have an accounting background. What I do have, if you know my chart, I have 2 strengths for small and large groups: accounting and oversight, finance and planning. So I find it absolutely fascinating how right on our designs are in putting us in the right careers and professions. I have worked with a small family-owned fitness facility as their fitness director. I was an entrepreneur with a global network marketing company. I said very eclectic, you all. That was where I met Bob Proctor, coaching and human design way back in 2004. and
Oh.
started using it in my coaching practices. I used human design as the foundation for that. I have also worked with a nonprofit. Empowerment is rampant in my design. I got to empower the Katrina evacuees who were replaced, I'll say, in South Carolina. All that to say, that's in hindsight, the power of this system to be used in foresight to put people in the right careers in the right way. If it works for me in hindsight, imagine what it looks like moving forward. 2018 or 17, I think I got the email from the Institute, and I was excited to learn from the source. And so I jumped in. Here I am today, BG5 certification, profit potential, OC16 cycles. Honored to be teaching this work since 2020, the foundation course, as well as the certification. And then I'll finish out by saying I am a messenger authority and my life's work is informing. So my passion, if you can tell, it is being a messenger for this beautiful body of work. What lights me up is to be able to meet people from around the world like y'all, but students that are drawn to this body of work because they want to work authentically, but not only for themselves. What I feel is that they're just as inspired as I am to go out and share it with people around the world. That's me in a nutshell.
I love it, Tuck. You're getting some nice reactions here. And I love your accent, by the way. You're obviously from the South. And is that right?
Yes.
And
Oh,
I'm
deep
also
South.
the Deep South. I'm also admiring your sun and earth, sun and moon earrings. So super cute. Beautiful. I love it. Awesome. Thanks, Tuck. So next up, we're going to have whoopsies, do my little share there. Banu. Banu, would you like to say a little bit about yourself and background?
All right,
Yes.
there I go. Hello. Hi, everybody. It's great to be with everyone here. I'm Banu. I'm originally Turkish, and now I live in Luxembourg. So a little bit of my background. So I found human design many years ago, and when I found it, or it found me, I just couldn't stop trying to get more of it. Then I decided it's time for me to study it. So I found the source where I could study. And while I was doing that, I've spent 25 years in the corporate world. So big corporations. And I thought, if I'm going to study this, what can I bring from as being my authentic self into this knowledge? So that was the business side of it, because I worked in large corporations for so long. And that's what I knew. So I decided to study the business side of it. And there I was. So I went through all the certifications like Tuck did, I think, so I couldn't get enough of it. And as I was studying, I found my life purpose according to human design, and that is being a teacher, leading everyone to what comes next, teaching the same thing over and over and over. So that gave me the chills, and I said, what I want to teach over and over could be BG5. And I had an invitation from the Institute to actually start teaching for the Institute. So here I am. I teach foundation courses. I teach the certification course, and I am teaching large business dynamics, so C16 soon. So yeah, really excited to be here.
Oh, I
That's
love it,
me.
Banu.
That's me in a nutshell, but I can't do like nice stuff like this.
Oh, it's such a delight to meet you. This is my first time connecting with both Tuck and Banu. Banu, will you say your name for me, please?
Banu.
But see, because I'm sure everybody calls you Banu with the emphasis on the U, but it's
Yeah,
Banu.
yeah. So
Banu.
that would be the
Beautiful.
Turkish way of, yeah.
Turkish.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
You have so much experience, and I may well be in your OC16 class if I can get my certification final
Oh,
assignment submitted in
beautiful.
time. So
We
yeah.
have to love you. Would have
Yeah.
to. Would love to have you
Wonderful.
there, Murray.
Thank you. Thanks, Banu. Very nice to have you. Okay, who do we have up next? It's going to be Michael. Come on down, Michael. Oops, I don't know why my
Hi, everyone. How are you?
screen is misbehaving. Here it goes. Hey, Michael.
It's me. So I'm a 2-4 express builder. As you can see, I have just one strength in my design. I found design found me in 2005. So it's been almost 20 years.
Amazing.
So when I started, I went to this workshop that had nothing to do with human design, did this 3-day workshop. At the end of the workshop, the trainer who was leading said to me in the group, "Hey, I do this thing called human design. Would you like to see your chart?" I had no idea what it was. I said yes. I looked at the chart. Something just ignited inside of me. Within 2 weeks, I had my first reading. In human design, we call them readings. I took my first class and I was off to the races. I wasn't sure where I was going with the studies of human design, but 6 years in, I had my analyst certification and I got invited to teach BG5 when it was in the IHDS, International Human Design School. So I taught there for a couple of years and then ended up taking a break and then came back to the Institute just about a year and a half ago. BG5 was always the direction that I wanted to go in, even though with my design, I'm not suited for groups, I'm not suited for large organizations, but I still have found myself over the years working in some ways as a teacher, a facilitator, something involving groups and individuals. My passion with human design and BG5 is more on the individual level. So I like working with individuals, and I've done hundreds of sessions and just love it. I love it. So I teach foundations, certification. I designed a class on keynoting, and I'll be teaching cycles and the instructor class in the spring. So I hail from the other side of the United States from some of our other instructors. I live in Boston, so the northeast part of the United States. You can hear, if you're from the United States, you can hear my Boston accent. It's a little different from some of the other instructors. So glad to meet you. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks, Mike. I'm so happy to be here. And some of you might know that Mike and I actually teamed up in the summer, and I led a program on social media for human design and BG5 professionals. And Mike was an amazing partner in that journey for the 10-week program. So really happy to connect with you again, Mike. So next up, let's bring up Veronica.
Hello, everyone.
Excellent.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
great to hear from everyone today and to be here. So I'm the newest addition to the BG5 instructional team, but let me tell you a little bit about my background. So I've spent like the last 30 or so years in the field of human resources, and I'm a long-time coach, leadership coach and career coach and facilitator. So I've been doing, a lot of work over the years of working with individuals and small groups and speaking to large groups as well, around all kinds of themes that have to do with people's day-to-day life in their businesses and in their careers. So I first heard about BG5 from an astrologer that I followed back in late 2019. And then I had my first BG5 consultation with a certified professional like in January of 2020. So it was, I scheduled it like right away. And, like you've heard from the other instructors, it's like as soon as I heard and began to understand my design, I was also, as Mike said, off to the races and just jumped right into it. And I immediately signed up for foundations and, started that part of the journey, and then very quickly went on to certification. So BG5 consulting certification, and then I studied profit potential and also cycles as well. So Banu, the only one I'm missing is OC16. So that is next on my dance card. So I don't know that it's going to happen in 25, but that is the next thing I want to do as well. And so, like I mentioned, I'm the newest member of the instructional team, so was invited a few months back by Sarah, and so excited to be part of this dynamic group. And I'm going to be teaching foundation starting in March of 2025. And let's see, and I'm also going to be offering a special retreat in January. So that's going to be just a one-day retreat on January 18th. And I mean, with all the work that I've done in business and with goal setting and helping people in their careers, that's really going to be the focal point of the retreat. So I'm going to be excited to work with you on setting the tone for a successful 2025.
Awesome. Beautiful. I'm excited for your retreat too. That sounds like it's going to be a really amazing experience.
It's going to be fun.
So wonderful. All right, friends, we're going to segue now to do the program showcase. So let's do that. And again, any questions at all, pop them in the chat or the Q&A. We'll have time to answer them for you, easy peasy. So the BG5 Business Institute program showcase, this is the educational curriculum. Sarah, did you have anything to say about this part?
Yeah, so if you're joining BG5 for the first time, this is going to be your pathway at the Institute. Everyone would start with the foundation course. This is going to be about learning about yourself, learning about others. Then you can advance to our certification courses. After you take BG5 consultant certification, that opens the gateway to taking all of the advanced certification courses. And we're going to take the time to go through all of those right now. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat.
Beautiful. All right. So foundations, Veronica, I think is going to speak about this.
Yes, so this is the starting point, as Sarah just said. So this is where the journey begins. I mean, foundations is 2 semesters, and it's different components that we'll be covering in each of those. But really in foundations, this is about really getting to know your design, understanding you, and really beginning to assimilate that information into your own life, personally and professionally. And then it's also about understanding others as well. I mean, I think that was certainly one of the most fascinating aspects, I learned along the way. Yes, it's so great to learn more about myself, but it was also interesting to just learn other aspects of BG5 and, human design for business, and what that means as I interact with all of these different people in their work lives and in their careers. And then we also get into all of the aspects of the actual design and chart, all of the terminology that we use, where we take all of those human design components and we give you the business emphasis for that. And then it's also, again, the stepping stone to you preparing for your professional studies. So once you complete foundations, then you can move on to the professional certification.
Beautiful. Yes, this was a fun one. And some people like me that come in to human design and maybe start with human design and then also kind of add on. That's what I did. I think I did human design for about 1.5 years. And then I concurrently studied both human design and BG5. It's quite a journey to do it both. So you end up being ambidextrous. Certification, Tuck, you're going to speak about this one if you could, please.
Yeah. So the BG5 consultant certification process is 3 semesters. As you see here, each semester is 10 classes, 2 hours each. I would say anyone seeking fulfillment in their professional career, looking for prosperity, success, and contribution to others, this is definitely a beautiful place for you to be. What you will learn you'll learn about all 4 of the career types, the foundational career types, how they operate individually, but also how they operate in the work setting. You are going to learn about the environments that I spoke to earlier, the impact of what happens when you work as a solopreneur, in a partnership, in a small group and or business and large group. Specifically there's a lot in all of these courses. As a solopreneur, you're going to become very, very familiar with how to bring out your own gift, skills, and talents. Again, as you see here, your public role, your purpose, your life's work. You will learn all about, this seems to be one of the most exciting pieces for the individuals in my class, to learn about the dynamics of a partnership, either standing alone or partnerships that are embedded in small and large groups. Definitely what we call in human design, the penta, the small group dynamics. It was one of the most exciting pieces for me to understand how I, along with other people, are and or are not comfortable in small groups. What are the 12 business skills? that are required for the success of any business. And in terms of what you can do, if you want to hit the next slide, Mari, if
Oh,
that's
yeah.
there's another one.
Oh, sorry, I
Once you
didn't realize there was
have
two. Yeah.
finished the training program, there's a project that comes with each of these semesters. What's really beautiful is as you're going through each of these semesters as a student and you've completed, say, semester one, you can begin offering what you learned in that semester for money and do that all along. But at the end of your process, once you've completed all three of your semester projects, you have purchased the license as well as the software. You can go out, work individually with people, work in the small groups, the large groups, but introduce them to this work with the career design overview. You can piggyback or, move further along with that. You can do a full career design analysis for individuals, create ongoing coaching programs for those. Again, you can do partnership analyses, standalone or those that are part of larger organizations. If you are inclined to work with what executives, managers, owners of businesses, team leaders, you'll know how to do an Alpha 1 leadership analysis with ongoing coaching. And then again, small groups, that Penta, you're going to learn everything there is to know about how to analyze a small group business or team, do ongoing consulting there, engineering those. I mean, there's a lot in these 3 semesters. You're also going to get a small taste of what Banu's going to talk about in a minute, because you are introduced to the OC16 large group as well. So we're going through all 4 of the environments, giving you a really deep understanding of how to work not only with yourself, but with clients and customers and companies. It's an incredible process, and I am complete.
Thank you so much, Chuck. Yeah, it really is an incredible process. And having been through the 2 semesters of foundation, 3 semesters of the certification, it's profound. So anybody tuning in today or catching the replay, or you found this on social, if you've been feeling that tug at your heartstrings or that kind of pull in your gut, or just that sense that there's something more, you're maybe looking for a bit of a career change, this is really a profound journey that you could embark on, because it's just so potentially life-changing for you and for your clients. So let's hop over and talk about, oh, actually looks like cycles is next. That must be Mike then. Wait a minute. Okay, it's going to be cycles then, OC16. Should we do that in that order? Sure. Michael, you want to go?
Good. Everyone, again, Michael Brown. I'm going to be teaching the cycle certification class. It starts in January. I have a story to tell because it's so relevant to this course. So there are cycles that we go through in the course of our lives, and they tend to be at age 30, age 40, age 50, and then there's a second follow-up at around 58 to 60. So the first time I had no idea what was happening. It was when I hit the first cycle, which was about 30 years old. So up until that point, I had been living my life completely and totally as an athlete. Everything revolved around all these physical stuff. At the time, from 20 years old to 30, I was a serious martial artist. And then suddenly, literally overnight, I could not train. It wasn't physical. It was just something that happened that switched inside of me. And I remember taking my karate uniform, my gi, to work every day, thinking, okay, I'm going to go train now. And I literally just couldn't. And so that really abrupt change marked the beginning of, what was to be like a completely new cycle. I'm talking completely new. So while I was living externally, living as an athlete, that switch completely brought me within. So healing, spirituality, everything changed. I had no idea why, and I thought there was something seriously wrong, and I tried to remedy it until I just finally accepted it. So the reason I'm telling you this story is because we can actually map those changes in our life. Now, I couldn't, if I looked at my the chart that maps out that. Was it there? Maybe not all of the pieces. I had a second huge shift at age 50, which in human design we call it the Chiron. But so these two shifts mark really for a lot of people this demarcation. So that's part of what we're going to be talking about, is being able to look at these cycles and not accurately predict, because everyone will experience it in their own way, but you can see how profound or not the changes will be. So my 40-year shift was more mild. It's as if I was just moving through, was not a big deal. Thank God, because what was coming at 50 was like totally gobsmacked upside my head. So let me tell you about this course. It's 10 weeks. We'll cover what cycles are, how they work, the different milestones. We'll give an overview of the global cycle, which is interesting because it is the life cross, life purpose of individuality. In human design, we call it the sleeping phoenix. The sleeping phoenix is someone who goes through these periods of birth, death, rebirth. So I actually have that as my life purpose, my cross, both in my natal design and also in my Chiron, my 50-year design. It's a cycle, it's an experience that I know really well. And so when I talk about that, it really is from experience. And so I can sort of share my knowledge, my experience with you on what this global cycle is and what to look forward to. We also talk about the daily themes. Daily themes are interesting in the sense of how the transits affect you. So if you have a lot of openness in your design, like I do, suddenly you notice, oh my God, my head's revving. Why is that happening? You look at the transits like, oh, okay. And so one of the key things that we begin to understand is we are like a little boat on the ocean. We're just going up, we're going down, we're going up, and we're going down. And the way to deal with that is fully understanding that this isn't me. This is just chemistry. The chemistry is moving through me. It's like the waves that we're on. But when we understand that it's not personal, we begin to relax into our own design and our own life and say, okay, that's happening, but it's not me. Especially, there's nothing wrong with me. So we'll talk about those daily themes. Another really interesting one is looking at the themes for the year. So we'll be able to do that. And for each one of these are specific sessions that you can offer different clients. You can even turn them into mini coaching programs. So we'll talk about that. So each one of these is an offering that you can do. So the idea is, as you go through this class, you learn these different cycle sessions, and then you can offer them, obviously, for pay. So the goal would be, if you get out of this session within a year, you will have completely paid off your investment in the class. So we'll talk about daily themes, personal yearly cycles, the 30-year, 40-year, and 50-year, and then we'll sort of wrap it up. Really exciting, right? So if this interests you, we'll see you in January. Thanks, everyone.
That was beautiful. Michael, thanks for sharing that personal story about being the martial artist and then the change. Was it your Uranus, did you say, or your Saturn?
No, it was a Saturn. It was at 30. Yeah,
30.
It was a tough one, Mara. I literally grieved that whole process. I thought I would be a martial artist for my whole life, and then suddenly it wasn't there. It was a grieving process. It took a couple of years to transition
I can imagine. Yeah, but it's like you said, I love the analogy you just made in terms of like daily transits, like boats just bobbing along. Sometimes the water's calm, sometimes there's a great big storm. Just real quick, and then we'll carry on with our program here. I wanted to plus what you said about cycles, because I'm a right angle cross of explanation. I have 6 planets in the 4323. I'm like born to explain. And then I was an internet marketer for since 1999, and Facebook kind of just landed in my lap, and I joined Facebook on May the 4th of 2007, Star Wars Day, and within a couple of weeks I was just evangelizing it like crazy. I'm saying to everybody, you on Facebook, get on, let me show you how. And then in the last few years, since I've come to learn human design, my Uranus opposition happened on May 15. I just double checked my date. May 15, right? I joined Facebook May 4, May 15, 2007, right angle cross of contagion. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? To see
Yeah.
how it plays out for each of
It
us.
really is. So anyway, I love that. All right, we're going to switch now. We're going to bring back Banu to talk about the OC16, the large group.
Yeah, thank you. And I have a story for my cycles. So my 40-year milestone was a couple of years ago in an August. And after when I was taking the class, I looked, so what happened then? And I saw that it was just like that month is when I brought my family to move to a new country and we started living in Luxembourg. And that onset me actually moving out of my corporate job as a sales director at Microsoft as well. Which kind of, yeah, it works. It's real.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, cycles is
Yeah.
pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I love it.
So let's talk about OC16. So OC16 is the large business application of the human design system. And when we say large organizations, anything about 10 people, we start working with this information. And the reason for that is when we are in the field of others, we start getting conditioned, yes. And when that's become a penta or pentas, then it starts vibing differently. So there's that conditioning that happens with the WA. So you no longer can be your true self in a way, because you're getting this background frequency from the group that you're in, which morphs into something completely different. It's got its own rules, it's got its own culture, it's a different thing. So what we study in the OC16 course is everything to do with this. So how do we get conditioned by that larger group that's there? And how are these pentas coming together? And the word OC16 actually stands for organizing channels, and the number 16 is 3 pentas of 5 plus an alpha. Yes, that's how it kind of comes together into an OC16. And when the group grows, that communication channels and how we organize becomes extremely important. And also understanding how we're influenced by this organization is very important. This is an advanced certification, so it's for BG5 consultants who have graduated or almost graduating even, Marie, so people who haven't done their certification, projects yet. I think we will ask Sarah for an exception in that sense. And here are a couple of things we can do. So especially if you're working with people who work in larger organizations, and a lot of people who want to get advice on business happen to work in anything above 10. So then as a BG5 consultant, you would be able to work with them at a different level, understand how they would function within that organization. And you can guide them into their business success and help them understand. Also help them understand if they belong in a large organization and how that would work for them. And work with leaders. It's a big part of my leadership coaching. When I look at anybody's design, that I will start taking a look at this. In fact, when I look at a chart now, it just pops up in different layers. Yes, the person as a person, how does that person function in a small group or a small team, and then large organizations. So there's so many layers to how we can see people in different ways. And then we can also engineer teams. So how can an organization become successful if we organized it according to everybody's design and the organizing channels worked well, and leading organizations to success? So you would be able to also do engineering with this to help larger firms. It could be a football club, it could be a class, or anything like a large org with this information. So I'm very excited. And I think the angle, so how will the class wide be? I think me teaching it, I'm fortunate enough to have Boris Nedved, who also has 30 years in large corporations, assist me. So he invited me into assisting this course, and I was very blessed with that. So I think we will be bringing in a lot of practical examples around what we have observed in the corporations that we worked at, and looking at a lot of leadership charts and how they have actually brought their organizations to success. So that's how I think we'll vibe in this course.
I love it, Banu. Thank you so much for that explanation. And just to highlight something Sarah's saying in the chat, because folks watching the replay or the live streams on the social channels might not know this. So just to clarify, we're about to talk about profit potentials as one more program that the BG5 Business Institute offers. Tuck's going to speak about that. But just to clarify, so anybody can take the OC16, that's the large business that Banu just talked about, cycles that Mike talked about, and profit potential, which Tuck's about to speak about, so long as you're enrolled in semester 3 of the certification, or obviously completed the whole program. Thanks for that little nudge, Sarah and Banu. That it looks like I don't have to hold myself up and wait to complete my project. Obviously, I want to do that. I just won't get my certification until that's done. So awesome. All right, back to our slide share. And Tuck, we're going to invite you on up to talk about profit potential certification.
I'd love to. I have to say on Banu's behalf, Banu, I got to get my Southern dialect right. All of these courses, because I love these bodies of work. My favorite one was OC16 semester 1, with all my years in human design as well as BG5. That was the one that absolutely brought everything together for me, FYI. So a little plug to go into the OC16, the Profit Potential Certification. It's 4 semesters long. I took one of the very first classes way back in the day when it was originally taught. If I am not mistaken, Veronica, I think you are one of our most recent, maybe, profit potential consultant graduates. It seems to be very, very, very popular. Like, people are drawn to this one a lot. And I make up that, I say, who wouldn't want to be their authentic selves, doing what their gifts naturally inspire them to do, and be fulfilled and make money in the process. As like a recipe for success, which is what the profit potential is all about. And so after completing these 4 semesters, you will be able to fully analyze someone's career design in terms of what is their potential, in terms of profiting, how to do that. You can do individual coaching. You can do group coaching. You can also offer profit potential workshops.
Yay.
Now, just to tell you a little bit about what you'll learn, and I made a couple of notes because they're not necessarily on this slide. Yes, we're learning how to profit by being ourselves, but we're also learning to profit by, in alignment, I'll say, with our individual career type. You are learning to profit and market and promote yourself by being in alignment with your design. We have this thing called your superpowers. So you're going to learn how to use your superpowers when you express yourself to make money when you're working with individuals. You're also going to learn how to craft your mission and vision statement. You're going to learn who it is you're designed to work with. See how excited? It's a very exciting course. You're going to learn where you're designed to be working with other people. And in all of this stuff that Mari does, you're going to learn about your target market, how to brand yourself, your USP. There's just lots here to support you to profit by being yourself. And most importantly, you're going to go through all of the 9 functions. We call them profit centers here because that's what they are. They're your profit centers. It's where you're designed to attract people to you so that you can utilize your wisdom, empower yourself and others. And the simplicity of doing this and making money as a sidebar and a byproduct, that's what I love. I have the thought you'll love the profit potential certification.
Thank
That's
you,
what I
Tuck. Yeah, beautiful. I think that this is one of the most powerful programs the closer we get to 2027, is to keep empowering more and more individuals to learn about themselves and then how to really, in essence, build a sustainable and profitable career that's so in alignment with their true self. So beautiful. I love it. Self-study programs, special programs. Veronica, you want to speak to that?
Sure. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. And by the way, Tuck, I did my profit potential certification. I finished it in 2022. So a few years ago, but to your point, and you hear what everybody is saying, it's like as you get these certifications, you get out there and you start using it, doing work with your clients. And that's what I've been doing for many years now. And that is the power of it. So this special program I have coming up is called Align and Achieve, setting the foundation for your 2025 success. So that is going to be a 4-hour retreat on Saturday, January 18th. One thing I always like to remind people of, because, culturally we think January 1st, right? Yes, it is the new year. But that's actually not the best time to set new goals. Mike kind of would get into that too in cycles, but I'll be incorporating some of that mindset into this retreat as well. The beginning of the new year from a human design perspective is around January 21st, when the start codon moves into trait 41. So, aligning your goals for 2025 with the actual start of the new year is going to, I believe, lead to much more success for you. So that combination of aligning with your design plus, using the power of the new year. Mary, you're muted.
Oopsie, see, I'm muted. I didn't mean to move the slide and throw you off. I love what you just said there too, Veronica, about the new year and how we're so conditioned to that January 1st. And when people learn about what you just said, the start codon around about January 21, such a good time to be really then setting the goals. And it really, human design has a great explanation for why most people fall off the wagon when they set their goals. About 3 weeks later, they're like, they can't quite sustain it. But oh, now that's interesting, because I thought that we were going to talk about the instructor training course, but that looks like it's not in the slide. So that's okay.
Yeah, could we let Mike, though, just say a few words
Yeah, let's
about
do that.
the program?
Absolutely. Instructor training program, Mike. If anybody feels drawn to be an instructor like these 4 lovely humans.
Four lovely humans. So instructor training is for someone who's gone through the BG5 curriculum, has gone out and started working with clients, understands how to apply the system. If you feel called to continue doing the work, but at a deeper level, it's teaching. So we have a class starting in the spring. We're still sort of figuring out the dates. I'm someone who, for myself, I literally have teaching in my design. It's something that's always called me. Group dynamics fascinate me. Here, it's all about being able to initiate someone into their first time process. And all of us have done it. Veronica's gone through it multiple times. Veronica was one of our first graduates through the instructor program. She can maybe speak to her experience. It's a 10-week class, but don't let that sort of fool you in some ways. During that time, we'll meet 10 times. While that's happening, you are reviewing both Foundation 1 and Foundation 2, but you're doing it through a new lens. You're looking at, how would I teach this class? And so when you switch sides, you go from the student role to the teacher role. It's a whole different thing. So you're going to start seeing the information through a different lens. You're looking at it, it's like, how do I impart this knowledge in a way that my students get? So some of the things we'll be talking about are not only the administrative stuff, just how to set yourself up for success administratively, which is a big deal. As someone who's not so administratively gifted, I've learned some interesting lessons on that level. And so I'm going to sort of speed your process up and say, don't make these mistakes that I made, because it just slows you down. And you can expect, like all of human design, like all of BG5, you will go through your own inner transformation, your own inner mutation. So when you teach, you're learning what you think, okay, it's really, my learning at this point is really high. And then you're going to learn, wow, there's so much more to learn. So you're going to keep deepening into the knowledge. So we'll talk about that internal process. So when you switch from the student role to the teacher role, you're essentially switching your identity. And if you've been teaching before, that's great. But teaching human design is something uniquely its own. So human design is, when we talk about BG5, it's human design for business. So everything for you is taking the theory, helping the students, how do I apply this? So that's your role. It's a big role. If you feel called to it, we'll see you in the spring. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. I love it. Okay, beautiful. What we're going to do, and I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We were doing our best to keep this to 1 hour. So what I have for you, or Sarah has for you, thank you, Sarah, for doing such a great job on these slides. Just to kind of edify and confirm all the wonderful things we've been talking about, we do have some testimonials. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to read every word, but if you're catching the replay of this, you can simply press pause and read the screen. I think, Sarah, that for everybody that registered on the Zoom, we're going to send the replay out and they'll probably get the slide deck too, right? Yeah, beautiful. So I just like for this Carla saying here, I wholeheartedly endorse the BG5 foundational course to anyone seeking a comprehensive, dynamic, and supportive learning experience. It's an investment that pays off not just in knowledge gained, but in the confidence to embrace and elevate your professional journey. And special shout out to Banu, exceptional teaching style and unwavering support made the learning journey truly remarkable. And let's see, testimony 2. From Rick, I guess is how you say that name. I'm going to just go ahead and he said 3 words: focused, transformative, relevant. I love it. If you want to move your life forward, this is the place to start. Remember, friends, earlier I said if you're watching this now live or you're catching the replay and you're just kind of feeling those sensations in your body of like, ooh, there's something here that's wanting me to maybe make a career change, then you might want to explore that a bit further. Akiko, such an eye-opening learning for her. She said, I'm very satisfied with my decision to take the BG5 foundations. A nice combination of easy to understand classes, working on assignments, shares from classmates. That's a nice thing too. That's one of the things I've thoroughly enjoyed in the last 4 years of going through the trainings on the human design and BG5 Business Institute side of things, is just connecting with some incredible human beings around the world who are on this journey and in their experiment. Dr. Dave Eldridge, our testimonial here, he's talking about the benefits. It's recognized as confidence. The information is accurate. You've heard all 4 instructors here and a little bit from myself and Sarah talking about how this information, when you really start to explore it and try it on, and they call it an experiment. There's a reason it's an experiment, because each day you can experiment with how it works in for you in your life. Of course, BG5 takes it to a whole other level with applying it to the business world. Deeper connection with people, more accepting, more curious of other people. I recommend the Foundations course. I feel as this is the premier personal awareness tool that I know about today. I couldn't agree with Dr. Dave more. So with that, and then let's see, should we do the Q&A right here? Shall I just tell people about the promotions real quick in case, should we do that? Is it okay if I'm going to do this? I'm going to do it. I'm not asking for permission. I'm just going to do it. Then we'll come back to Q&A. Just to remind you, do you want to put this in the chat? I just want to catch people while they're live. To remember that we have some amazing holiday promotions and sales coming up. And Sarah will go ahead and put it in your chat, or if you're watching this on socials, you can pause and take advantage of these. We'll put the links in the description of the videos so you can get, oh my gosh, right, a BG5 map report for only $1. Wow, 90% off. So you can use that code there. Just 1 per person. So I love that. I love that. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there, and then I'm going to go backwards, and now we'll go to the Q&A. And I know we did have a great a question. We had a great question from Galina. Now, Galina has asked, and I know probably all 4 of our instructors here, Veronica, Tuck, Mike, and Banu, are totally capable, and maybe you could tag team on this. But Galina has asked, it would be great to have a brief demo of a body graph quote speed reading to get an idea of the terminology BG5 view compared to human design. So Galina is an emotional generator 3-5 with 3 abstract channels. Now, we don't have Galina's chart in front of us, but I wondered if maybe we could take one of the instructor's charts. Somebody feels like doing what Galina just described there, to do a little kind of speed read of the terminology. strengths versus channels, functions versus centers, that kind of thing.
And as Sarah is finding the chart, maybe I can just jump in to speak a little bit about the terminology we use
Oh,
in
that would be lovely.
BG5 that can lead to looking at somebody's chart.
Yeah, please.
So the approach we take at the Institute is we want to make human design accessible to people in business, and not everybody is really interested to learn human design with its terminology as is. So the terminology we use is as it will make sense to anyone out there. It resonates better with people in business. Human design can be esoteric a little bit sometimes, and Ra had a great way of naming things, which are great, but sometimes it's hard to grasp, like what's a projector? If you told like a business leader you're working with like the owner of a company, you're a projector. So sometimes when people don't have a hang of human design language, it can be a little hard to understand. So the language we use will resonate with people. It's like more practical, if we can put it that way. So that's why like a projector is an advisor in our language. A generator will be a builder, somebody who's here to work and get through things. A manifesting generator would be an express builder doing things quickly. And then we have evaluators, reflectors. And what am I missing? The manifestors. Yes, we have initiators, because manifesting can be confusing for other types. Can't I not manifest? Yes, we can all manifest. So we don't call one type manifestors here. We call them initiators because they're here to initiate things. So this is the angle we take. And then we can continue with looking at a chart, perhaps, or if any of the instructors want to go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and share the screen here, because I think that's we talk about the strengths. Any fully activated channel is a strength. And for example, Tuck and myself, we have the 214 with the strength of direction, and that's it's the only strength that does double duty. Very good strength to have in small business and large business, right? Let's see. What else? And then Veronica. Now, I don't remember that off by heart, so I have to go back and look at my homework. So Veronica, can you speak to what the small group strength that you have? We're just doing a little bit of extemporaneous.
Yeah, so I mean,
culture.
For me, because I have the 515 as a strength, I'm someone who can kind of set the tone with a small group. It's interesting though, because I've noticed that, I've worked with various size groups and, individuals as well. The one thing that I think you'll come to discover the deeper you go, like into this knowledge, is, when Ross said that, hey, this is really about your individual experience in life. It really is. So we can, and we do through all the classes, call out what all of the things are and how they could play out. But you are also having your individual experience. Not that long ago, Mike actually pointed out to me, because I said, I do a lot of leadership coaching and development, and I've done so for all 30 years of my career, but I don't technically actually have any leadership strengths. So how am I out there doing leadership coaching successfully, by the way? It's because, of these other layers and nuances in the design, coupled with how things actually, come together and play out in your individual life. So that's, the exciting journey of really all of this.
I love it. Okay, beautiful. Wow, we have Galina's chart. Okay, so now I can share that. Thanks, Sarah. I'm going to share Galina's chart. You get to be in the hot seat, Galina. Okay, instructors, what would you say to Galina? Who wants to jump in? Michael?
Mike, you want to share your magic?
Galina. So not quite an express builder, but powerful nonetheless. So Galina, two starting places you have in your design. One is your energy resource. It's that red box, lower center. And the other is just to the right is the emotions. So we can actually map how each of these functions work. So the energy resource is your power center. It acts through this concept of response. Essentially, what you're doing is tuning into your body and allowing your body to tell you, this is what I have the energy for. So there's a couple things that's going to keep you grounded. Number one, the fifth trait, That's the fixed patterns, it's routines. So having these routines begins to ground you into the world. So if you're traveling, if you're doing things that you're not grounded, things can be off. So that's one of these starting points. But you're responding to, we were talking about this with our other instructors, the 214. So this is direction. When you're responding, new opportunities are coming to you. That new opportunity, one of them you're going to say yes to internally from your gut. But ideally, that's just the first moment that you begin to go through this process. So we're going to switch over. We're going to jump to the emotions, the emotional intelligence over to the right. That's your primary decision-making style. I call it a primary and secondary. Primary is your emotions, secondary is your gut. The gut works first, but emotions have the final say. Before you move off into any new directions, you got to wait out this wave. Your wave is an abstract wave, which means that you go through these periods of these learning journeys, beginnings, middles, and ends. But it's a wave of desire. So suddenly someone comes along and says, Galina, we have this new job for you. We think you'd be the best ever at it. Come join us. Your gut says yes. And so there's a part of you that really wants to jump into action. But because you're really learning about your design, you understand, wait, this offer feels really desirable now, but how does it feel in a week or in 2 weeks? So you go through this wave, and before you get that clearer response, that allows you to move into action. One of the things that a new direction is going to take you in is learning journeys. That's where your abstract sharing, which means so much of your life is these learning journeys. And what's really challenging for you about these learning journeys is while you're going through them, they don't always make sense. It's only at the end of experiences, at the end of these learning journeys, at the end of these cycles, you get to complete it, and then the awareness happens. So where that shows up in business for you is don't take any job, don't sort of jump into anything too quick, because once you start, you want it to be the right learning cycle for you. Right cycle, right experience, brings the right lessons. Conversely, when you say yes to the wrong experience, the experiences you get, you're not meant to actually have. So the last thing I'll say about your design is it's the 29, it's in the energy resource. In human design, we talk about it as the trait of saying yes. It's also the trait of saying no. It's imperative for you to be super clear, any big job, new experience, new relationship, that you take the time before you say yes. A good no is as valuable as a solid yes. Because when you say no to the experiences that aren't correct for you, you're going to have this ability to not have to learn something you're not meant to actually learn. And then the vice versa is true. All right, that was a speed read.
But Mike, you're a master at this. I really loved observing your process and your brilliance when we did the social media course together back in the summer. It's really quite a joy to witness. We're going just a couple minutes over, but I do want to address, we have a question here by Gaudi. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Gaudi is saying, and we won't have time to look at other charts, but I do want to make sure that you get your question answered. So Gaudi is a 1-3 self-projected projector, right angle cross of rulership 2. And this person says, I've always felt best working with companies, managers, leaders. Would I make a good fit for BG5? Who wants to answer? It's hard to say. Like, I mean, ultimately, the person has to make their own decision using their authority, decision-making strategy. I mean, I personally, yeah.
Mari,
Oh, Veronica.
Please.
Okay, I was just going to say that, I mean, if you're already drawn to business, this is the obvious place to study. So if, you know, if you're trying to merge like your business background and your business interest with human design, this is the place to do it. This is what we're all doing here. And why, you know, you've heard from all of us today, just all of our connection points and business background, and you know why we do the work that we're doing here. So I would say it's the perfect place. But as Mari also just said, you certainly have to decide for yourself based on your individual authority.
Yeah. Yeah. And Gaudi, I am a 1-3-2. I learn by trial and error. I have made so many mistakes, and I try, and I just keep coming back to my sacral response, my energy resource. And I just am so in love with human design and BG5 and all the applications. And I'm not giving up my social media marketing career. My goal is to fuse them together like a lot of folks have done. And one other quick final question from Gaudi says, I received my professional human design reading and I did the Living Your Design course a couple months ago. Could I take the BG5 foundation course, or is there any other requirement to start this path? And I know, Sarah, you answered it in the chat, but I think it'd be good to just put it on the recording.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was just going to say that if you take all three IHDS foundation courses, which are Living Your Design, Rave Cartography, and Rave ABCs, then you can actually take BG5 certification, and we will give you a very special audit price to watch the recordings of BG5 Foundation. And so that's a way that you can just jump right into the BG5 program. You can also take the courses concurrently. So we have people that want to have, you know, go through their awakening process and deconditioning process at IHDS, but they also want the practical language of BG5 and use that in working with clients. So you, of course, are more than welcome to take both foundation courses concurrently or at different times. And just email us if you have any questions. We're here to support you throughout your entire journey. So don't be a stranger.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sarah. All right, let's just share my slides one last time here, and we're going to do a quick wrap up. So Sarah's been amazing about popping the different links in the chat, so you can see how to enroll in upcoming classes. There is a course brochure, there's some free webinars, all kinds of wonderful ways that you can go ahead and embark on your journey starting in the new year. Definitely be sure to follow the BG5 Business Institute on social media. It is Facebook is BG5 Business Institute, and it's pretty much the same everywhere except TikTok and X, BG5BI. Yes, the Business Institute, BG5 Business Institute, is on TikTok and X. And definitely sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's the best way to keep in the loop and find out all that's going on. And a quick reminder of the holiday promotions. And if you're on the newsletter, you'll be the first to know. Also follow us on social, because then you'll get the information there. If you have any questions at all after this webinar, or you're catching the replay, go ahead and email office@bg5businessinstitute.com. And then also, we will be emailing out these resources, or the slide deck. So you'll have all of these. We've got lots of resources for you, all kinds of information that you can learn more. Or you can just go straight to the website, bg5businessinstitute.com, and have a good poke around there. If you're an investigator like me, you'll find all kinds of great information to go down the rabbit hole with. All right. Many blessings. Thank you, Sarah, for organizing this, for putting the slides together. Thank you to our 4 amazing instructors, Tuck, Banu, Veronica, and Michael. It's been a pleasure and a joy from your host here, Mari Smith. We'll see you in a class sometime soon. Many blessings, and I hope to connect with you in a class soon, as I just said. All right, take care. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.